Hello friend, I want to tell you about the car. When the first generation of the Porsche Boxster was launched, many people compared this model to the 911. Conservative fans of the brand even claim that it is a poor substitute for the more expensive model. However, they are wrong, because the Boxster is a completely different design. What to look for before buying a small Porsche? The design idea of the car remains the same. Unlike the 911, the engine is placed centrally, not behind the rear axle. Thanks to this, the car has a better weight distribution. In 2009, the Boxster 987 underwent a facelift. What has changed? As befits Porsche, the visual modifications are cosmetic. However, the engine range has been refreshed, introducing larger and more powerful engines with direct fuel injection. There was also a new Porsche communication interface in the onboard management system. Since then, the car was produced without any major changes in Germany and Finland until 2012. One of the main reasons to buy a Boxster is its performance. The basic version accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in about 6 seconds. The most powerful one takes a second less. The top speed is equally important. Depending on the engine, it ranges from about 250 km per hour to over 260 km per hour. The car's performance is sensational, but what about failure rates? Porsche models have long been at the top of reliability rankings, which does not mean they are completely free of faults. The biggest drawback of the Boxster engines is the intermediate shaft bearing, IMS, which is susceptible to damage and can lead to serious engine failure. Symptoms? The drive unit runs erratically, like a sewing machine, a problem well known to Porsche owners. There are also oil leaks and ignition coil failures. Due to the central engine location and complicated design, it is a Boxster after all. You have to prepare for high costs of replacing the timing chain, which will certainly not last forever. In the Porsche Boxster 987, regardless of the version, the drive can only be transferred to the rear axle wheels. Are you looking for a 4x4 system? You have to pay extra and buy a 911. There are 4 gearboxes on offer: 5 or 6-speed manual, 5-speed automatic and 7-speed dual-clutch automated PDK. Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe. The suspension is of course fully independent systems. Safety? Since Euro NCAP does not test sports cars, one can only assume how safe the Boxster is. What can go wrong in a 987 Boxster? The water pump is definitely the one that starts to fail even after a few thousand kilometers. The radiator fan is also temperamental. Sometimes it turns on, sometimes it doesn't. During the test drive, pay attention to how the gears engage. If you have to wrestle with the gear selector, you probably need to replace the synchronizers. Rough driving also takes its toll on the suspension. The most common ones are the wishbone and stabilizer bushes, and the wishbones themselves are often damaged. In more abused cars, the springs, front shock absorbers, and their upper bearings give out. If you overdo it with driving on the edge, you can even damage the steering knuckles. Of course, a lot depends on the intensity of use, but let's not kid ourselves. Few people save on a sports car. It's better to be financially prepared for every eventuality. During the inspection, it is worth paying attention to oil leaks, especially around the oil pump and coolant. The coolant temperature sensor and oil separator can also be unreliable. Before buying, check the operation of the roof opening mechanism, because it can be capricious. This does not mean that the car has an accident history. Minor shortcomings include faulty power window actuators, jammed seatbelt pretensioners, a too quiet horn, jammed cup holders, and sporadically striking dashboard buttons. Electric seat controls and heating are another drawback of this model. Despite the increasingly attractive prices of used Porsche Boxster 987s, operating this German roadster is still expensive. Serious faults occur in a rather small number of units, but if something serious does break down, it certainly won't be cheap. In addition, you have to be prepared for frequent visits to petrol stations and the costs associated with regular replacement of brake pads and discs. Well, you have to pay for pleasures. The Boxster has a cramped interior, a hard suspension and a small trunk. All these inconveniences are compensated by the sensational performance, excellent driving characteristics, unique appearance, high quality of the interior finish, prestige and, of course, the joy of owning a Porsche. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I haven't mentioned, be sure to write about them in the comments.
I have good news for you. Now, if you are planning to buy a used car, or learn more about your car, you no longer need to search for the information you need on the internet. We have collected everything in one place for you, on the website carme.pro. Here you can find out everything about the car, what brakes and at what mileage, any problems with engines, chassis or gearboxes, which trim levels are better not to mess with and how not to lose money buying a used car. You will learn all this on carme.pro.